Ladies and gentlemen, was that the greatest Coke 600 we have ever seen? That was amazing last night. Look, I think you can go back lots of years. 2005, I think, stands out. I'm sure if you go back to the 90s, there's been some great Coke 600s. Um, but whew, ladies and gentlemen, what we witnessed last night for the Coke 600 at Charlotte Motor Speedway with the next gen car was the race of the year. Probably the race the last 5 years, to be honest with you. And there is so much to be said about this car at intermediate tracks, minus Texas, but this car at Las Vegas, this car at Kansas, this car at Charlotte. When Miami comes around, I'm sure that'll be a great race. This car at intermediate tracks speaks for itself. It's just, I don't even know if amazing is the word to describe it. It's just a spectacle to watch. We don't understand. Do we understand why it's so good on intermediate tracks? I don't know. I mean, sure, a lot has to go with the aero package, the horsepower, but just the amount of passing that goes on and the battles that we saw last night, battles for the lead, battles for fifth, 10th, 15th, 20th, guys running so hard just to get a position. And the minute they take it, it's taken right back. That is what racing is about. And wow, I mean, I just cannot say enough about that race from start to finish, from lap one to lap 408. I don't know, however many we made it, from mile one to mile 618 and a half. I think we went something like that. But it's just, I think overall we know a lot about the next gen right now, right? I mean, we know that short tracks, there's still a lot to be desired. We know that super speedways speak for themselves. We know the tire issues need to be fixed because that's costing a lot of guys good runs. And it's really just luck of the draw thing, which again, a blown tire has always been a luck of the draw. But I mean, these tires should be more durable. We all know that. But we also know that this car shines on these 1.5 mile tracks. I'm excited for Homestead. I don't know. I think of like unique tracks. I think that Homestead is the final unique 1.5. We'll go back to Vegas. We'll go to the Roval. I think we don't go back to Kansas. I'll have to check the schedule, but the good news is we do still have some 1.5 milers coming. And man, it's just one of those things where as a race fan, you're so happy that this package can bring back tracks like Kansas, like Charlotte. Charlotte, I think even with the last the Gen 6, it was pretty good. It was okay. Vegas was one of the ones that shined a little more. But I mean, they got rid of tracks like Chicagoland, Kentucky. These tracks are off the schedule now. And why did they do that? Well, because the Gen 6 didn't allow for these tracks to shine. And now we go to the next gen car. This is all we want to see at this point. I mean, we want to see when's the next mile and a half, because it's the thing that really stuck out to me last night. And I know I kind of sound like almost out of it, but I'm just so like in shock, I guess, of what really we watched last night. Like it was a spectacle from start to finish. It was a must watch from start to finish. I mean, you could not keep your eyes off this thing. I'm a Celtics fan. I had the Celtics Heat game on, but I was watching like literally every lap of this Coke 600 while like my team is fighting for the NBA finals. That's how good this race was. So, again, I interrupted myself, I guess, but what I was going to say was just like, I think Fox too did a really, really good job last night. I think last night was the best broadcast from Fox for the season. I don't know if I haven't seen people talk about that. But I did want to talk about that. Like, I think Fox showcased battles. Like 15th, it was like Harvick, Almirola. I think Bowman was a part of that battle. Like Eric Jones was a part of that battle. Harvick, Stenhouse, like for fighting for like 12th. And you just saw like pass, high line, pass. Oh, coming back underneath, take that low line, pass, slide up. And it was just back and forth. I mean, it was amazing. You go to fifth place, battle for fifth, same thing. I pass you, you pass me back. I pass you, you pass me back. The guy in first, even with clean air, I mean, he never got more than probably about 4 seconds ahead of the guy in second. I mean, that's what it's about. I mean, we used to see with the mile and a half from Gen 6, I mean, guys would be winning by 13, 15 seconds. And that is not happening at these mile and a halves. And, I think the argument can be made where it's like, oh, well, Briscoe and Larson were having a great battle for the lead. And then Briscoe obviously wrecks himself, which I love that for Briscoe. I thought that was awesome. And I think maybe people would be upset, like, oh, another overtime finish. But well, it's like that's a product of this car is going to overtime because so many guys have a chance to win there at the end. Where I think with the Gen 6, like if someone was spinning out with like 2 to go, 3 to go, it was just because they wanted like a stack up. They wanted like a team stack up. And I know that sounds kind of crazy, but like literally, I mean, some guys were 8, 10, 15 seconds, behind the guy in second, and so with this car, it's not like that on these mile and a half tracks. I mean, you are right there to the finish. You can run that guy down. And, we've seen it, like a guy like Briscoe is going to make a move. He's going to try to win that race. And I thought that was a good move. I actually enjoyed that it went to overtime because, again, we saw just how good this package can be when Austin Dillon gets a run, takes that run, goes underneath. Again, he has a chance to win the Coke 600. That would have been his second. I loved it. I mean, I loved the move. And again, that's just all part of this car, shining and guys. Every weekend, a new guy has a chance to win a race. And that's what racing is about. That's what, I mean, if you go back to the 90s and you look at some of these races, I mean, there was a ton of parity. Sure. Guys like Jeff Gordon, Dale Earnhardt, won plenty of races, right? Week in and week out. But I mean, if you look a lot of those schedules, you would have like 15, 16, 17 different winners a season. Because that's what it was back then. And I love that aspect of racing is coming back. Sure, the good teams are still going to dominate. Hendrick and JGR are still, I think, leading in wins this year. I know Trackhouse has 2, but with Denny, Hamlin winning last night, Hendrick and JGR are still up there. So again, like the dominant teams are still showing their dominance. But look at guys like Briscoe. Look at guys like Tyler Reddick, Eric Jones, who showed speed. Ricky Stenhouse Jr. has had a streak of top 10s. Michael McDowell has had a great season so far. He's 22nd in the points, and we're almost halfway through the season. I mean, that's awesome. And that's pure points. Like Michael McDowell is 22nd in pure points. I mean, you just can't talk enough about the parity that this car has created. Has it had its flaws? Yeah. I mean, the Martinsville race wasn't really good. I mean, obviously strategy and such, or maybe that was Richmond that the strategy played out, but that's neither here nor there. We know that the short tracks, have not shined, but short tracks will shine. We know that. We know that short tracks will come around and shine because that's what, the Bristols and the Martinsvilles have always given us. They've always given us a good race. So we know those will come around. This is the part of the schedule that we needed to fix. And honestly, the sad thing is NASCAR for the last like 3 to 5 years bulked the schedule up with these mile and a halves. And then they were like, well, the mile and a halves aren't really giving us good racing. So let's add more road courses. Let's get rid of mile and a half tracks. And sure enough, we're back where, we've only seen 1 or 2 road courses. I think actually just one, right? Just one road course so far. And it gave a good race. It gave a great show. That was one of the better races of the year. But I think, let's add these mile and a halves back. I mean, this is what we want to see. We want to see guys using different lines, showing their skills, riding high up against the wall, getting runs, passing back and forth. Yeah, I mean, look, the Coke 600 last night was amazing, and I'm going to remember it for a long time. I think a lot of people are going to remember this thing for a long time because it was that good. But look, I want to hear what you guys think about this thing. I mean, also like your thoughts on the schedule, the upcoming schedule. Like I said, I think we only have like one unique. Let me look it up. Let's look this up here because I want to make sure. And I apologize, like I don't have this up, but I just wanted to do no notes. I just want to come on here and really like give a live reaction of what I thought about that race. But like, so if we look at the schedule right now, Gateway, I think, is a little less than a mile and a half. I wouldn't really call that a mile and a half. We got a Vegas, we got Homestead, Texas again, which is yikes. Okay, so we do go back to Kansas. Oh, okay. I thought we only went to Kansas once. Huh. I didn't know that. I thought we only went to Kansas once. Okay, so we go back to Kansas. We go back to Texas, which stinks. We go back to Vegas. We got Homestead, which will be good. Michigan, which is a 2-miler. That'll be good. And I think that's it. Yeah, that's it. Because Nashville, New Hampshire, those are 1-milers. Atlanta, I mean, that's a 1.5 mile, but it's a super speedway now. The one I'll be interested for is Pocono. I don't know, like, could Pocono bring on a good race? I mean, that's a unique track in and of itself. So, the Pocono races last year were pretty good, but that was because of strategy. Like, it would be really cool if we could see good, hard racing at Pocono. Like, that would be awesome to really revive that track. So we will see. We will see. But like I said, I want to hear what you guys have to think about last night. So please let me know in the comments. And thanks for watching.